Hey there, it's Tyler with Titan Media. I got a video for you today. I wanted to show everyone how to use Ahrefs to give your website an SEO audit. So if you haven't heard of Ahrefs, it's a really great tool. You can do a number of functions that are really great for SEO. Mostly it's like keyword research and tracking your backlinks and stuff like that. If you're not a member of Ahrefs, I suggest checking it out. It's a really good program, and we use it every day. So, and so if it's in your budget, check it out. So first things first, log into Ahrefs, and we're going to click Site Audit, and that will take us to the audit page where we can add our first project. And we're going to use, let's use titanmedia.com. So I assume you can put in either HTTP or HTTPS. It'll figure out which one has the best backlinks. So just put in whatever your preferred URL is and click Add Project. And you'll see this quick setup menu here. So we got HTTPS. We're going to go to and use both because we have backlinks coming in from both of these. So we want to see kind of both of those links and where they come from. So you can set a project name, and usually that's just set for you on the name of your website. And next you can choose how you want to crawl. So you can let Ahrefs do the crawling for you. You can crawl URLs that have backlinks, or if you have a sitemap, you can submit that as well, and you can even send them a list of URLs. But since we have a sitemap set up, because we were using WordPress with Yoast SEO, we have a sitemap that is located at this URL. And so Ahrefs will crawl all of these pages that it finds on this sitemap, and it will give us, a SEO audit of the pages, and it will tell us which pages could use some work and what we would need to do to fix those issues. So let's click Create Project. And I wouldn't worry about the max number of internal pages unless you have a really large site. You may need to change that, but I would say most sites are under about 10,000 pages. So now it's going to run for a little bit, and it's going to collect all of those URLs and start doing reports on all those URLs. So we're going to let this run for a little bit, and we'll check back in a minute. Alright guys, so it's been running for almost an hour now, and we are going to just check it out and see what we got so far. I'm sure that all of the okay guys, so this has been running for about an hour now. So we're just going to go ahead and go through all the data and check it out and see what we got. So looks like it found almost 2,100 URLs, and it scanned over 1,000 of them. So that should be good enough. So this is kind of just a crawl log that shows you all of the URLs that it found. So it crawled a lot of internal pages and internal resources. So let's go through and let's check everything out. So if you click Overview, you'll get kind of a general health score and a general idea of how the SEO is on your site. So you can see here we got a 77. That's not bad, but there's definitely some things that we could fix on the site and get that score up a little bit. So we're just going to kind of go through all these little sections, and I'll kind of tell you what they're about and what to look for when you're doing this with your website. So you can see here we have our content types. So this is kind of the amount of types of content that you have on your website. So you can see that our biggest content type is images, with 668 images on our site. That's from all of the blog posts that we've done and all that kind of stuff where we add a lot of images and stuff like that to make the posts better with SEO. Then you can see you have HTML, other JavaScript, CSS. So you want to try and keep the JavaScript and CSS as low as possible. Same with the images too. If you're putting a lot of images on your site, make sure that you're sizing them down and saving them as PNG so that they're the smallest size possible so you can have a faster loading site. So the next one is the status code of the internal URLs that it found. So you can see here that over 200, so this is the response code that we got. So we had 1,000 URLs that had a 200 response code, which is a success. So that means that 200 of the URLs that it crawled loaded fine. And then 42 of them had a 4XX response. So that could be a few things. It could be a 404, could be a 403. So we'll have to go in there and check that out and look at the details of it. And then we had 29 3XX, which could be a 301 redirect, a 302 redirect, and we'll have to go in there and look at see what those are. But some of these are just from SEO that we've done to the site, and we have a few pages that we're redirecting old blog post to new blog post and stuff like that. So the next one we have are content types of internal URLs by depth. So this is the depth of the linking that it found, and so the depth would be how many pages link to how many pages. So you can see that our link depth is not super great. We could definitely work on doing better deep linking and linking more pages to each other. So the average depth that it finds is 1, and then there's 2 and 3, and it looks like there's some 4 as well. But we definitely need to get this spanning across more and fix those links up a little bit. And now it's the same thing with the status codes. You can see that most of them, it's from the first page. So next here we have our HTML tags. So you can hover over here and it will tell you any issues you have with your HTML tags. So you can see, our title tag, which is the most important meta tag here, 144 of them are unique title tags, so that's good. 6 are good duplicates. That's probably titles that have pages in them, like on our WordPress site it could be our category paging where it says category/1, category/2, but really those are just query strings, so it's taking that as the same thing. So we also have bad duplicates that we'll need to check out, and then not set. So these are going to be pages that are named exactly the same thing. So you can see, as I was just saying, so our blog paging, these are the same title. So we could actually add our paging number to the title, and that will make these unique. So these are this is our WHMCS area, and there's not much we can do about that except maybe put a canonical URL in here and tell it that this is the page to use and not to use any other page. And it's kind of the same with all these other ones. We just need to go through and update these page titles so they are all unique. So it's the same thing with the meta description. You can see that we definitely need to go through and do some better meta descriptions on our site. We use Yoast SEO, and we kind of just let them pick on most of these pages, but we definitely need to go through and make some unique ones on all those. So that's kind of the overview. There's a couple more reports that you can run here on the left if you want to get really deep into it. I can kind of go through all these reports and kind of show you what everything is. So let's start with performance. So this will be kind of the how fast your site loads, and that's a very important thing to know about your website. If your website loads any slower than 3 seconds, most people are going to leave. So you really want to make sure that your website's fast. It's good for both user experience and good for SEO, because as you can see here, Google can easily see how fast your website is just by running some crawling reports. So it definitely puts that in its algorithm. So you can see here we have the time to first byte, so that's like how long it takes to load. So you can see here that our site is pretty fast here. It's loading, around 500 milliseconds, maybe a little bit over there. And then here is the actual load time. So you can see most of our pages are loading slow to medium, but 100 second, or sorry, so 1,000 milliseconds would be so this is 1 to 2 seconds, and 0.5 to 1 seconds. So really that's pretty fast, but they're saying that less than 500 milliseconds is fast, which that is very fast, but it's not likely that you're going to get a lot of pages that are that fast, unless it's just a plain HTML page. And then it says we have 21 that are too slow. So let's click that and let's check it out. So this is our feed. That's probably slow because we have so many posts. It's probably trying to load all of those posts. Yeah. So you can kind of go through and look and see what pages are loading slow and see if there's anything that you can do to make those faster. And you can even sort here by the organic traffic that each one of them gets. So you can see this is a popular page that we have here. So we want to make sure that this is as fast as possible. So we might need to take a look at this page and see if we can't do anything to make it a little bit faster. It has a lot of images and a lot of text. So maybe we can shrink some of the images on this page because the size is pretty big. But let's go back and keep going through this. So this is kind of the same thing. It shows you the depth as connected to the load times. So that's just something to look at. Also, like sizes. So this will show you the file size, and we can see here that most of our files are a good size. They're less than 100 kilobytes. And there's a few of them that are over 1 megabyte. So let's check those out. So yeah, these are just images that we use, and they're about a megabyte. So that's getting a little high, but you want to make sure that any of your images are at least 1 megabyte or less, but they should not be over 500 kilobytes if you can do that. So this also shows you the content encoding, and you can see which percentage of the site is compression gzipped. So you can see that most of our site, 73% is, but there's these few pages that are not. So we'll definitely need to get these gzipped. So it looks like some of these are WHMCS, which is probably not gzipped because it's a cart system and it could mess with the billing. But that's something that we would definitely need to dig into. So the next one is HTML tags. So this will tell you how the HTML is on your site and whether it's like good for SEO. So we already kind of went through the HTML tags with like the meta tags and stuff. So here you have like your H1 tags and your content. So you can see that our H1 uniques are pretty good. We could fix a few of them. We have 38 duplicate H1 tags. So this can be a little difficult with sites depending on what your site does. If you have a shopping cart, you may get a lot of those kind of duplicate H1s because they're just shopping cart or whatever. So that's something to look out for. If you can make them unique, that's good and you should do so. But if they're part of your private backend or a shopping cart, you may not need to make sure that those are duplicate. I would mainly worry about more of your blog pages and blog posts and stuff like that, and make sure that those are have all separate H1 tags, because it's likely that most of your traffic is coming from your blog, because that's where you usually get the most traffic from, is the content on the site. So the next part is the content, and that shows you the pages that have unique content, and you can see a whole list of them. Oops, where would we go here? So you can see that a little bit of our pages are duplicate. So that's the shopping cart, and the content on those pages is going to be the same because it's just the shopping cart text and categories and stuff like that. So the next is kind of a graph here, a donut graph that shows you the title length, and it shows you the ideal length and how many of your titles are that length. So you definitely want them to be in the optimal green zone. We have a little work to do on this. A lot of our titles could be longer, but like as you can see here, a lot of these are contact us, about, stuff like that, where it might not be as long as they really need it to be, and it's not really a content page. It's just a contact us page or an about us page, stuff like that. Most people won't land on. So you have the same thing here with the description length, and as you can see, our descriptions are a little bit better than the titles. These are probably mostly from the blog, as we try to keep our descriptions from the blog good. I'm sure that some of our other pages need a little help, like the shopping cart and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't worry about those too much when it comes to the length, as long as it's a good description that's explaining the page well. So next is social tags, and this will look at like open graph tags and all that stuff that connects your website with your social sites. So you can see here that about 40% are incomplete on our site, and 38% are complete. Let's check out the incomplete ones. So these are just some of our normal pages, and it will tell you what attributes it's getting. So you can see all these and what they match up to. So you can see the site name, OG type, title. So you should have these on all your pages. It will definitely help you rank better in the search engines. So make sure that you have all these on here, and make sure that they're all correct. So let's see which ones aren't set. So all these pages on our shopping, or on our WHMCS are not filled with open graph tags, but that's fine because people aren't landing on those pages, and that's just for our shopping cart. So nothing you need to worry about there. Just make sure that all your blog pages have open graph tags on them, and same thing with Twitter. This will be the same thing. You get a Twitter card, and it uses this information when you share your website on Twitter. So like we talked about before, the depth, same thing with open graph tags. You can see that usually just our first page has it on here because that's just the WordPress blog, and after that, the link, we either link out or we link to another page on the website. So you're only going to get about up to 2 or 3 with the open graph tag before people start going to the cart or leaving or whatever. But you definitely want to have those as far across right as you can. So here you can see the open graph types. There's a ton of open graph types. You can see most of ours are article or website, and then we have these objects too, which it can be a number of things. And then same thing with Twitter guard types. Not too important of stuff, so I'm not really going to go over that too much. And then here at the bottom, it kind of gets more in detail, and you can see which meta tag is incomplete, and you can see all the pages that are incomplete. So let's look at all the pages that don't have an OG image tag. So we can see that most of our blog pages and most of our WordPress pages do not have that. So that could be something that we could add to make our SEO just a little bit better, is adding an OG image tag to each of those pages. So when you share that page, you can use that image and share it, which will increase the CTR, because an image is always better than text when it comes to getting people to click on something. So we have the same thing over here with their Twitter cards. You can see that some of these aren't filled in, so we need to go through and figure out which ones don't have a website, a Twitter site connected to them, and we should add those there. So you can see we don't have its Twitter site attribute, so we'll have to go through and add that. Same with the image. So you can see the same thing at the bottom here with OG site name and the height, width, updated time. If you have a WordPress blog, most of these will be in there by default automatically. So not something you need to worry too much about. So that's social tags. So next, let's look at content quality. So this will show you a cluster of pages here that will show you how many not set canonical tags that you have, and it will also show you the average word count of your pages, which is very important, because as you know, you're a lot more likely to be on the first page if your blog posts or pages are more than 1,000 words each. So as you can see here, we kind of try and make that happen on Titan Media. Most of our pages here are either 101 to 250, which are probably our landing pages, our service pages, shopping cart and stuff like that. And then we have a lot here that are above 1,000, which is all of our blog posts, which we try to make anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 words. But some of them are upwards, around 7,000 to 10,000 words. It really just depends on the type of article and what you're trying to do. But I would definitely make as many pages as possible more than 1,000 words. That's just the best way to go to assure that you'll get the most traffic possible from Google and other search engines, obviously. So next is a localization. So this kind of just tells people tells Google and other search engines where the website's from. So kind of getting an idea of where it can show that site in Google's search, whether it needs to be in United States of America, and what language, etc., etc. Not too much of that you need to worry about as far as localization goes, but it's just something to check out if you're interested. So incoming links, this is a really important one. This shows you all the incoming links that you have to your site and whether they're do follow or no follow. So do follow means that link juice will be passed on from the site that's linking to you to your website, and no follow means that it will not pass the link juice on. And even though it doesn't have any direct SEO value, no follow is still good to have because it looks like it makes it look more organic that you have both do follow and no follow links. So you can see the top pages that are linked to from other internal pages. So this is really a test of how good that your internal linking is and your deep linking is to your site. So we have 180 pages linking to our homepage, 178 to the blog, 177 to the client area, and a lot of these are from our header, just because the header is shown on every page and that links to these pages, which is why these pages will be ranked higher than the other pages, because they're linked to more from both internally and externally. So we're linking to it more in our site, while also people are linking to it more externally from backlink building and guest posting and stuff like that we do. So next is outgoing links, and this is kind of the same, where you can see where most of your outgoing links are coming from. So we have 303 outgoing links from our titanmedia.com homepage. So that's good. It links to a lot of our URLs throughout the site. And then you can kind of click on that and you can see, a list of all of the URLs that are linking out from our homepage. So next is the resources tab, and this will kind of show you all the resources and what's loading slow and what's loading fast on your site. So you can see, as far as images go, our loading are they're all loading successfully with a 200, and we don't have any images that aren't loading good, so that's a good thing to have. If you have any red here, you should fix those images because they're either not on the server anymore or they're gone. So definitely something to check out there. And then we have image size. So this will show you kind of a graph of how many of your images are oversized and how many of them are good. So it looks like here most of ours are pretty good. They're below 100 kilobytes, but there are a few of them that are a little big. And as you know, bigger files take longer to load, so that will make your website a little bit slower. So you want to have the most amount of small images as possible. So same thing with the load time as the image size. You can see that most of our URLs are loading in a pretty good time. Most of our images are loading in a pretty good time. So nothing that we need to worry about there. And then content types, that will show you, all the image types, and you can see that we mostly use PNG because those are less size and they load faster. And they're still, pretty good quality for what you get as far as speed and SEO. So this last one is a really important one too, the alt attribute. This shows you how many of your images have alt attributes set on them. So with SEO, when you're adding images, Google crawlers and all the other search engine crawlers, they can't see images. So they use the alt tag to decipher what the image is. So when you put alt tags with good keywords on your images, those images will both rank better in Google Images, and they will help you rank better in normal Google ranking. So you can see here that most of our alt tags are filled in, which is good. There are 97 images that don't have alt tags, so we should definitely go through and we should add alt tags to all of those so we can get those keywords in there and get those images ranked better with Google to get more traffic from those images. So this last one here is image usage, and that kind of shows us how many images we use here, and like how many images are used that many times. So you can see that most of our images are just used once, but some of them are used a multiple amount of times. So it's kind of the same thing with JavaScript. You can see how all your internal JavaScript is loading, and you can see how long it's taking, etc., etc. I'm not going to get too into this part. If you have a lot of JavaScript on your site and a lot of this is red, that's definitely something to look into and try and fix some of that JavaScript code to make it load faster. There's plenty of write-ups out there on compression and ways to get your JavaScript to load faster. So check that out. And then CSS is kind of the same thing. It's one of the smallest files as far as the code goes. It kind of is what is the style and design of the website. So you can see here it shows you how many of them are loading correctly, and if any are 404 or not loading. Definitely something you should check out. It's probably messing your site up, and it probably looks really bad. Same thing with the size and the load time. That will kind of show you if any of your style sheets are too big, and you should definitely fix those so that your site can load as fast as possible. So that's pretty much it as far as doing a site audit with Ahrefs. I hope I gave you some good knowledge in this video, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below. I'd love to answer them. And if you want to get more great information like this about building your business online or growing a business online, then definitely follow me, and I will be posting a lot more videos of how to do that. Thank you.